Welcome to the Crusader Corner. In the last 10 years, the men's basketball program has made the NCAA tournament 4 times, including now 3 in a row. They played in 5 straight conference tournament championship games, and now Dan Fickey's team can proudly say they're back-to-back conference tournament champions. Welcome to this special championship edition of the Crusader Corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network. At the beginning of this season, I don't think anyone would have expected men's basketball to do what they did after some non-conference losses at home around Thanksgiving. Maybe this result was unthinkable, but Belmont Abbey fans, the Crusaders have done it again. They're at the top of the mountain, and for the second year in a row, Conference Carolina's tournament champions. With 3 wins in 3 days, men's basketball knocks out the number 2 and number 1 seed, including a 79-73 upset of UNC Pembroke, who beat them twice during the regular season. Buoyed by 23 points from Quest Aldridge, he knocked down 13 out of 15 free throws and won tournament MVP. The Abbey weathered a tough shooting day by outscoring UNCP 18-7 in the final 441 to wrap up their second straight tournament title. This is truly a credit to Dan Fickey and his coaching staff to rally the team despite only shooting 35%. Led by the senior class, Sean Halloran scored 14 and Bosco Boyevich pulled down 6 rebounds. This program, they keep on winning and they win in a well-rounded fashion and have established a remarkable culture under Dan Fickey in just 3 short years, making 3 straight championship games and winning 2. The program will play in their 3rd straight NCAA tournament, traveling to Augusta this Saturday in the opening game. Right before men's basketball, Emma Dusterhoff's cheer team placed 2nd at the Conference Carolina Spirit Championship, record-setting performances with 8 in stunts and 9 in the jumps. The baseball team, the Bats, are cooking right now as the Abbey polished off an offensive display in a sweep of Emmanuel on Saturday. That's a superb start for this program. They're 12-5 with mammoth wins over national powers. It's just a great time to be a Crusader right now. Alex Sniffen and Brendan Simons have become unhittable, and the offense combined for 4 home runs in that series. Brennan Martin smashed a grand slam. Simons struck out a season-high 10, and Ferguson drove his 7th home run over the field in right field. Softball, freshman pitcher Abby Craver threw a complete game, only allowing 1 run on 3 hits, and Peyton Whitley had an RBI in a 3-1 win in a split with Queens. The Abbey, 13-4, that's still the best start in school history. The track teams, men and women, got going this past weekend. Freshman Isabella Flores set Belmont Abbey records on Saturday. In the 100 hurdles, she had a time of 15.4, and in the 400, 1.04.91. And in addition to the women, the men set several school records as well. Luke Thierfelder shattered the javelin, 57.95 meters. Elliot Wonder's time of 9 minutes, 0.7 in the 3,000 was the best in school history, and Manny Thompson established a new standard. Men's lacrosse, Chris Barrett's lacrosse program earned a much-needed victory on Saturday, led by Eric Solgren's career-high 4 goals, including 2 in the first 5 minutes of the 3rd quarter. And now when we come back here in the Crusader Corner, we'll be joined by assistant baseball coach Nick Popp to talk all things Diamonds. After this, it's a championship edition of the Crusader Corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network.
They actually help with building the inner man of each student.
My coaches have been great. I've really transformed.
You get a sense of community. To be an athlete and to be involved in that has been a really fun experience.
Hello again, Belmont Abbey fans, and welcome back to the Crusader Corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network, voice of the Crusaders, Jeffrey Childs, and we're talking baseball today, joined by assistant coach Nick Popp. Nick, thank you for being on the Crusader Corner.
Absolutely. Good to be here. Glad to spend a morning talking some baseball with you.
Oh, I love it. And after last year, you guys lose a lot of very important pieces. Mason Dodd, one could make the argument one of the all-time greats in the program as far as hitting is concerned. Sam High is gone from the pitching staff, but so far so good. Things are retooling just as I'm sure you've hoped they would.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to lose the production that Sam and Mason gave us, but that's what the recruiting's about. Finding guys that can come in and replace those guys. And, we're sitting at 14-5 right now. I feel like, we're off to a pretty good start. We found some guys that could replace Mason in the order and replace Sam on the weekend. I don't know that I'd say replace them, but at least, fill those innings and those at-bats and have some good production. So,
well, on the infield, some similar faces for you, but kind of in new places. Connor Tucker is at third base, and now you have Patrick Taylor, an everyday starter at second base. So new faces on the infield, but guys that you trust in those roles, veterans.
Yeah, Patrick Taylor may be as good a leader as we've ever had here. A guy that's put in the work, and he's being rewarded for it now. Tremendous defender, a guy that scraps at the plate for us, ultimate team guy, tremendous leader. I've joked with the other coaches. Ben Goebel, we had some injuries in our infield, and Ben Goebel's now moved from third to short, and I've joked with them that we've had him out of position for 3 years now. So he's played a tremendous shortstop. Connor Tucker, super freshman, unbelievable kid, great family. And he's walked into a tough role being a kind of an everyday starter as a freshman, and there's a lot of pressure for a guy like that. And he's hitting in the 7-hole most of the time and trying to relieve a little bit of that pressure. But he's going to be a good one for us for a long time.
You have, I think, an embarrassment of riches in your hitting lineup this year. Ferguson, Goebel. Ferguson, who had not one but 2 home runs last weekend and a grand slam for you. Goebel hit one as well over this past weekend, a 3-game sweep over Emmanuel. And then you have Sean Johnson leading you off. That's got to be a nightmare if you're an opposing coach trying to stop it. But how have you gotten those guys enough reps in BP but found enough balance in the hitting to kind of make them all happy where they are in the lineup?
Yeah, we do. We have some big bats. We have some big personalities too. Those guys, when they're all going, it's tough. When they're going, I think we're going to win the game. We try to scatter those guys a little bit. I mean, really, Sean's 1, but Goebel's been 2, Ferguson has been 3, and they've all been pretty good all year long. But when they're going in any single game, they're going to be tough to beat. We challenge these guys day in and day out through practice, through BP. We want to mess with their timing. They're good enough athletes, right? They probably need less of us and more of them. If we, can challenge them in practice, challenge with their timing and drill work and stuff, then we feel like they're going to be prepared in the game. And up to this point, they have been. It's more credit to those kids than it is to us. But we have a good canvas to work with those guys for sure. Martin is, he's a JUCO kid. And then Brady Emerson also, who's a mid-year guy that came to us from Ohio State. And both of those guys, they've put in a lot of time out in left field. One's swings it from the right side, one from the left side. They kind of bring different things to the table. And that goes into Coach Anderson, playing the matchup. He loves to play matchups, whether it be on the mound, whether it be in the lineup. And, Brady from the left side brings a little bit of speed. He can bunt a little bit. And I think Brendan from the right side brings us a better matchup against maybe a left-handed starter, maybe a little bit more juice in the bat. But both tremendous kids, ready to go when their name is called, and they've both, showed up when that happens.
And the other members of this freshman class, there's a few of them maybe Belmont Abbey fans have not gotten a good look at yet. Talk about those guys and what they've added to the culture of the program.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously extremely important to bring in the right type, right? The right fit, good kids, talented kids, and we have a lot of young, talented freshmen. A couple of those guys are contributing. Tyler Beck, a guy that's kind of fought with some injury issues. That's why Ben Goebel's been at shortstop. Tyler Beck's a young shortstop from New Jersey. I mean, personality, the person through the roof, and the player is really good too. Connor Tucker, who obviously is playing a lot for us. We got some good young catchers. We have some good young players, position guys all the way across the field. And then, on the mound, same thing. When you're a freshman arm, it's tough to break in and get some big innings just because we have a lot of talent, and those guys are 20, 21, 22 years old. So as a 17, 18-year-old, it's tough to steal some of those innings. But we do our best to get those guys experience. In this region, you win with experience and talent. And this year we've got a lot of both. And I hope that it is reflected at the end of the year that we do have both. But those young guys, they just kind of wait their turn, keep working, and they'll be them a couple years from now, right?
We certainly hope so. And speaking of pitching, 2 shutouts this past weekend over Emmanuel. Duplicate scores, 8-0 shutouts. We'll get to Jason White in a second. But whether it's Avery Short, Brendan Simons, you had a lot of guys that not only can start but can come in out of the bullpen, give you those long innings you need. And then you got a save in a big game and a tight one on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? Like I said, this region in Division II baseball is about as good as it gets. So to have 2 shutouts, on a weekend in a conference series against a tough club, the coaching staff at Emmanuel is tremendous. They have their guys prepared, and we knew it was a big weekend, and I think our guys were prepared. As far as Jason White, the dude is just a competitor. I mean, he wants to win. And he competes, and you know what you're going to get every time that kid steps on the mound. Game 2, Alex Sniffen, another, tremendous start. The guy just, he doesn't get hit. I don't know how else to say it. I hope that I didn't just jinx him, but he's just, to this point of the year, he's just, you know what you're going to get when those 2 guys step on the mound. Brandon Simons just, he's walked into a new role this year, kind of a weekend guy for us now. Bulldog mentality, just comes right at you, and that's what you have to have, in this conference, in this region, if you want to compete. And then Avery Short came in and got the save late to complete the sweep in a tight game. And, I've used a lot of the same words, but all 4 of those guys can be described as bulldogs, and just they want the baseball. And that's the kind of guy you want on the mound, especially in a tight game going for a sweep.
The pitching staff led by Jason White, and I know you look at it in an egalitarian way, right, that all these guys contribute in their own special way, different pitches, different velocity, things of that sort. Jason White, though, clearly the way he throws, the velocity he works around the zone, I was thoroughly impressed that effort on Friday in the 8-0 shutout. And you guys were in some jams on multiple occasions, 2 runners on, 3 runners on, didn't phase him. I mean, pitched the same every single time, and just very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're going to get out of Jason. The moment's not going to be too big for him. He's been there, done that, all-conference guy, a Friday night guy now for a few years. And so, like I said, you know what you're going to get. So a couple runners on is not going to phase him. He's going to come right at you. He's going to make you beat him. He's not going to give away free bases. And so, I guess when people come and watch the game, they see Jason get out of jams like that. I'm not used to seeing him in many jams, but it doesn't surprise me to see him, fist pumping when he walks off the mound, getting out of a jam. It's just, that's who he is, man. Guy's a competitor.
I was really happy to watch that and to see that performance, and I'm sure many, many more of those performances. Nick, you've been here at Belmont Abbey for quite a while now. You've seen a lot of recruiting class. You've had a hand in bringing a lot of guys here to the Abbey. What does the baseball culture here mean to you, mean to Coach Anderson, the program, the alumni? How have you been a part of building it? And what do you talk to recruits when you mention the program?
Yeah, I don't know that I can do it in a minute, but I think you hit it when you said the word culture. I think culture is maybe one of those things that's not talked about enough, but when you're around good culture, you see it. And I think that you can have winning programs, they typically have culture. They typically have good culture. And I think Belmont Abbey does. I know Belmont Abbey does. It's the alumni, like you said, are integral. They are always involved. We actually have Alumni Week coming up here in a couple weeks. Senior Week and Alumni Week are going to be on the same weekend. I think Erskine's here. But like you said, it's just the kids enjoying being part of a program. That's what it's about. That's what culture is. Those kids, we want to get you to your ceiling, right? And I can't get you there if you don't enjoy, the day in and day out grind of playing college baseball. We have to have a relationship. I think it starts there. It starts with a relationship between player and coach, and knowing that, we have your back regardless of whether it's on the field, off the field, whatever it is. And I think we've established that. It starts at the top with Coach Anderson. we always say it, the door's always open. And, I think our kids know that, they feel that, and it's true that the door is open regardless of what they need to talk about.
When you're sitting down with a kid in his living room, and Belmont Abbey has just a wealth of things to offer, the academics, the athletics, part of this great baseball program, the spiritual formation, what are some things you hit on for recruits watching that separates Belmont Abbey, makes Belmont Abbey distinctive, that I want to come here and be a part of this baseball program?
Well, you said it. I mean, I think you could probably sit in there with me from what you just said. We touch on all of that, the family environment, the spiritual aspect. Christ is at the center of our campus. And then we do baseball really big. We do. We play a great brand of baseball, and the Southeast Division II region is arguably the best region in the country. And then our location. We want to be good at the things that we can control, right? I think we're really good at the things we can control. And then some of the things that we can't control, like our location, happen to be really good too. So when you can sell, a kid from Florida or a kid from California or a country boy from the backwoods of North Carolina, those kids can all kind of find a home here, located so close to Charlotte, but kind of tucked in this little country town. And so it really appeals to everybody. But the baseball's real big. The people here care about you, and the location is about as good as it gets. So it's not that hard of a sell to a lot of kids.
Well said. And winning a lot of baseball games here under Coach Anderson and your leadership certainly helps a lot with that. Nick, want to say thank you for being on the Crusader Corner today. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Enjoyed it.
All right, when we come back, we'll look at the week to come for Belmont Abbey Athletics. You stay tuned. It's the Crusader Corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network.
Oh, this? I was playing catch a little too hard with the dog. He's got quite an arm. I've been through this before. It'll be better in a couple of days. Probably.
Visit one of Ortho Carolina's specialists right away by logging on to orthocarolina.com. Leave the waiting to this guy.
Come on, honey.
Ortho Carolina. You improved.
All right, welcome back to the Crusader Corner. Thanks to assistant baseball coach Nick Popp for that great insight on the baseball program. It's another jam-packed week of games here at Belmont Abbey College. Men's golf is at the Bearcat Invitational on Monday and Tuesday. Women's golf also at Converse all day on Monday and Tuesday. Men's women's tennis, they start off the week against West Virginia Wesleyan. That's Tuesday at 2 p.m. Baseball goes on the road to face the Cobras of Coker on Tuesday at 2, and then they come back here on Wednesday for a home game against Anderson at 5 p.m. I'm on the air for that one on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network. And baseball finishes out the week with a 3-game series against North Greenville. That is a huge one for early season tests in the conference. Friday and Saturday, 3:30 and noon for a doubleheader. Softball goes to Claflin on Saturday for a 1 p.m. doubleheader. Cheerleading is at home on the Wheeler Center here on Saturday for the Spirit Classic with 12 more teams participating. That's at 1 p.m. And men's basketball. They are back in the NCAA tournament, champions of Conference Carolinas, and they face the number 1 seed in the Southeast region, Augusta, on Saturday, TBA. Men's bowling is at the USBC sectionals, Saturday through Sunday. Wrestling is at the NCAA Championships this weekend in St. Louis. We'll have more content on John Kirianis, Mitch Dean, and the rest of the wrestlers here on social media. Check that out. Men's lacrosse, they're at Queens on Saturday at 1, and women's lacrosse is also on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network facing Palm Beach Atlantic. That's on Friday at 5. I'll be on the call there with baseball streaming across the way at Abbey Yard. That'll do it for this special championship celebration on the Crusader Corner this week. We really hoped you enjoyed all the content, all the look back at basketball's historic win to cement this culture and this program under Dan Fickey as one of the preeminent basketball programs here in the Southeast and perhaps nationally. What will happen for the Crusaders on Saturday? Only time will tell, but they have to get by the number 1 ranked seed in the region. That's Augusta on Saturday if they are to move on to Sunday's games. I want to thank everyone here at Belmont Abbey College for being involved on the Crusader Corner. Nick Popp for being our guest this week. Chris Anderson as well for his insight. All the wrestlers as they go to the NCAA Championships. And Dan Fickey and his staff for helping me and giving me access to this program all season long to bring it to you. It's another week of the Crusader Corner. We'll see you next week on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network.
4 o'clock tip time, the ladies. Conference Carolina